better signal. Off the big metal thing. Don't hit myself in the face. Because this is what this is going to do. I'm just going to like... Alright. So I can hit go live here. And then... That looks right. And let's refresh this. He's here! Okay, there's my... Oh, wait, what? No, I didn't mean to. I wasn't thinking when I typed that. We fast forward a day. Tint and class. Let's save that. we're on day 2 already. Are you gonna post these on your channel? Yeah, these will be available on the channel. For sure. Alright, let's cross our fingers that some of this stuff just works. There's still things I don't understand. So then if I click this button... Come on, I refreshed it. It should just work. The text-to-speech works great. Once it connects to both platforms. But it's got to connect to both platforms. Come on, come on. This is day 1. I don't know why I typed day 2. I have absolutely no idea why I did that, other than I was setting this up. And it's like... Volume seems muffled. Volume actually should be terrible. Oh my god. Wow, that was even working? It should be way better now. Now is it okay? Okay. Well, I don't know what's going on with TikTok, other than I can close this and try and... Oh, no, there it goes.
Yeah, the plastic is really easy to scratch.
This. I don't understand this. Why is it twice? Okay, anyways. So let's go into... All right. So we should do an installation now. And it's going to come in a couple of parts. So we're going to do some tape on the windows, wherever that might be. And then we're going to go into shrinking and then installing. So it's going to be a little bit about prep. And then with the patterns that we have, we'll be able to shrink a few in a row and then go through the install. So let me jump over to the driver's side. Okay. We'll do one on this one. So one of the first things that I'll do when I pull in a car is just I roll down the windows and I'll tape the seals. Where's my adjuster? Oh, this is not. Come on. Where is it? We're losing time. Here, can you grab me that stool instead? Just one of the shorter ones. Yay! Perfect. So, I'll roll this down. This is a precaution. It definitely does help, but it's not required. So what I'll do is, this is our seal guard tape, and it's like putting a brand new seal on the car. So it just depends on the age and how dirty they are, especially if they're felt. But I'll take this tape, I'm going to slide it into this side seal. And it's best to do this when the car is you just pulled it in, the seals aren't wet, you just roll the windows down right away, and you can put a piece of tape here. And this is gonna help mask off those sides and hold dirt in the sides, like out of your way, rather than dirt kind of flaking loose off of the side seals. But especially for like felt seals, so these are rubber ones, but if ones that have little felt pieces on them, those will just like constantly leach into your work. So it just depends on your experience level. It's something that can definitely help. So I'll do that. This window doesn't roll down quite all the way on here, so I'm just gonna try and worry about like the main places, especially because we're two-staging, so I'm gonna, like, this is gonna be my halfway point. So anywhere in that two-stage where water's gonna rush back into my work and potentially pull dirt, that's why I'll do this. So let's roll this back up. Is the jump box on? It's faster now. We'll leave it on 40 for a bit, and that should help. Okay, and now we're gonna cover the door panel one way or another. So let me just cut off a piece here. Where's my knives? There's my knives. Is it a special tape? It's a little special, but it's a very aggressive tape. So if you use like a house wrap tape, that'll work in its place. But it's a thin-ish tape that works fairly well. And then we're gonna take this and we're gonna mask off the door. Pull this down. And these are our door panel guards. So just to help keep water off the panel. Panels can get wet, but carpeted areas that are on panels, this will soak up water and stay wet for a long time. So if you're delivering a car, it's not exactly great for the customer to see something like that. So keeping stuff like that covered up, and especially the switch areas. So the switch areas are, why did a breaker pop?
Oh, you can't, yeah, basically say you can't use this cord for the,
No, we're not using that. Yeah, it would be from the jump box. Oh, it's plugged into that wall.
either one of these cords.
Yeah, just use one of the reels. Okay, so especially switched areas though, water's gonna run down and it can just pool up in here and start shorting out the switch. So doors aren't like completely, well, that's a new one, albeit somewhat scary. Hey! It all works. It's okay. No problem. Okay. So, yeah, like I was saying, you don't want water just running down to like the switches. You want to keep it off the panel if you can. Door panels are somewhat water resistant. Getting some water on it's not going to just like inherently hurt them, but there is still stuff to watch out for.
Yeah.
So, grab me the other reel with a heat gun. And so we'll go through first, and we're gonna shrink one of these door windows. But yeah, first thing I'll do is cover up the panel, tape the sides. I'm not really worried about cleaning the inside of the window yet, because it's honestly like, you just give it like a visual most windows are going to be within a certain level of clean, and glass cleans up fairly quickly. So we're going to clean it really right before we go to install it, unless I see anything major. So stickers, like a dealer sticker, like a big square one, I would clean the residue off of that. Or if I saw some other weird stuff, I would clean that first. But for the most part, like a small little like dealer sticker or something down here, those, they come off really easily. And for the most part, there isn't going to be a lot of random stuff scattered around your door. So just a visual inspection, look for anything major. So now we're going to shrink this, and there's a couple different ways to shrink. Most of what I do in the videos is going to be called snap shrinking. That's really done in a couple of steps where I'll hold the tint, I'll lift it, and I'll shrink this area right in here. Doing it this way is a little quicker, and I can show it as well. But the trick about snap shrinking is it's a little harder to see exactly how much you're shrinking it. So a more visual way of seeing what you're shrinking, we're gonna take our window and we're gonna squeegee down and up here, and I'm kind of forcing everything to pop up along the bottom. So I've sealed this and then put a little pressure inwards to really make these types of fingers pop up. And I'm just gonna lightly brush out some of the water here in the center. And then we're gonna get to shrinking. So shrinking I can only do out the top and the bottom, but basically, like, if you unroll it this way, you can shrink in the direction that the roll was going, like that core was facing. So I could shrink out the top of the window, or I could shrink out the bottom. I can't shrink anything out the sides. So that's why I'm directing everything to come out the bottom. And we don't have a lot to shrink. So on doors, you can do them wet, and it's a pretty quick process though. So I'm just putting heat on it. I'm getting this zigzag going. I'm pressing that out. Putting heat on a finger until I get that zigzag going, and then I push it down. Just putting some air and wiggling it here doesn't shrink it. You have to watch for that zigzag. That little pattern right there indicates that the film is actually shrinking. So right like that, push that down. And it's just a game of whack-a-mole. So push it down, heat it up, push it down. And while you're shrinking, pay attention to right along here. Like, you don't want your tint to be right up super close to the very bottom edge, or else you're gonna start cooking this rubber seal. So leave it up about an inch from that, and just mind how long you have the heat gun pointed in any one particular spot. So if I leave it here, up here it's gonna be okay for a second or two, but if I was pointing it right here, I'm gonna start to burn that really quickly. So once it's like shrunk, this part shrunk, there's one more step that we can do, and we're gonna do this part dry. So you're gonna lift it about 4 or 5 inches up, you're gonna let go of it, and then you're just gonna card that, and you'll see the tint is just kind of hovering here, and anywhere we had kind of like a bigger shrink line, that's holding our tint off of the glass. So we're gonna take the heat gun again, and we're just gonna shrink those areas up a little bit farther and get them to tighten up. Right, like that. That just helps ensure that there's no random little fingers that'll just pop up. Sometimes what I find is just shrinking those fingers makes you feel like you shrunk the window enough, and you go to install it, and you sometimes we'll have a couple just bigger ones that'll just randomly pop up. So doing that will help ensure everything will lay flat when you go to install it. The way that I show in the videos is called a snap shrink, and it's a way to basically do that all in one step. It's just more guesswork. You don't have that visual. Like I can see the fingers with this method. I can see exactly where they are. I know how much I need to shrink. So now we're gonna get to cleaning. So the window is rolled up all the way right now. So I'm gonna use that as an opportunity just to clean this section right here. I'll take a 1-inch razor blade and I'll scrape along the bottom. Just a little bit of glue there. My headphone's disconnected. So there's a little glue down here, so I'm cleaning that out from the other classes. And then I'm gonna roll this down, and then I'm gonna clean the top edge of the window here. So with a razor blade, you're not gonna have to razor blade it every time you go to install it. Razor blade is kind of like a one-time thing that you have to do, unless you come across glue that's stuck to the glass from like a previous install or something like that. So like if you installed it, it sat for a while, you peeled it off and there's glue, then you have to scrape all that off. But just as a quick, just as a clean right before you go to install it, really glass cleans up very quickly. Scrape it, wipe off the top edge. So if there is a, can you grab me that towel? And I'll just leave this back out there for a minute. Gonna fix that really quick. What's up, chat? They will be in a second. Yeah, that's what I hear though. We'll leave that open. So scrape the window, take a towel, wipe off the very top edge of the window. This window is constantly going up and down. It's cramming up into this top seal. So anytime this window rolls all the way up, it's catching extra dirt that's up there. So before you go to install it, you're always gonna install the film. So the window is down about 1 inch or 2 from the top, and you've squeegeed and wiped the whole thing off. So think of your squeegee as like, I don't know, it's a squeegee, but it's like a broom. You're going to like use this like a towel every time you wipe it on the window. It's gonna leave little fibers, leave little bits. This is going to actually like squeegee all the water and all the dirt to wherever you put the squeegee. So if I just take it and I just like hit it here and drag across the window, I've left water here, so there's probably some little dirt speckles there. So you want to always be very intentional about the way that you're squeegeeing. So I always like to start right towards the end and then end up somewhere like that. And I'll make overlapping strokes here just to make sure that the window is basically completely dry. And now the only places that there's going to be some dirt is going to be right here and it's going to be right there. So then I'm going to take a tri-edge, I'm going to wedge that into the side, and I'm going to squeegee that down. Same thing here. I'm going to take that in there, squeegee that down. So now I have cleaned my window, and I can flush these sides quick, mist the rest of it, and we're ready to install. So just like we kind of talked about earlier, Sharpies versus hand cutting directly on the car. There's 2 major methods of installing. One of them is called bottom loading, and the other one is called 2-stage method. So the 2-stage method is where you're installing the top half first, and then you install the bottom half. There's a lot more steps involved in installing that way, but it's a lot more universal to where you don't have to pull out seals and learn how to take apart certain door panels. it's always good to know how to do both, but it's far easier to learn how to bottom load. It's just the trick is then, okay, so some cars take apart really easily and you can pull out seals pretty quickly. And some cars, they just aren't that straightforward. So it's just picking and choosing kind of like what avenue you want to go down more. But for the two-stage method, that's what I'm showing right now. I pulled down this liner here halfway down, and it's just straight across. And so I'm going to pick this up off of the car. And then we're going to start with putting up the long side here. And then this side here, this is what we need to tuck into the side first. This is just hanging off of the window here. I want to get this side settled in before I just push this up on the window. So I'm going to take my pattern. I'm going to push this kind of inwards and just fold this up a little bit. I'm not actually pinching it anywhere. I'm just rolling this up and flattening it out. And then it's going to coast right into the side seal. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other side. I push it in far enough to where this will basically just like lay flat on the window. And I can go over here, pick this up, and then slide it back in the opposite direction and get that tucked into the side. The pattern's not bad. We have a little bit of a dip right here in the top edge, but the rest of it and the way that it fit into the sides is really good. So I'm going to now squeegee the top center area. You can use your hand, especially in the beginning, and kind of hold it in place. Like it's still gonna wanna wiggle around a little bit. So to like push it up close to the top edge, squeegee it in the center, and just start working out sideways rather than just pushing things straight up. This is gonna get your glue to kind of start to lock against the glass and squeegee out some water without really disturbing like the placement of it. This is really easy to start pushing this up over the edge. But if you go in this direction, you can put a little bit more pressure and not worry about, you know, it might shift a little left and right just a bit, but it's not gonna push up over the edge. So then we're gonna go back to our tri-edge card, put that into the seal, flex that against the window, and then you just go straight up. So these air pockets here, we're just getting those straight out, right like that. And then you can just give it a little wiggle test. If it's still sliding around, you can spray it. You can go across the top a little bit more. If it's still sliding around after that, I'd think about maybe lightening up on the soap a little bit. But you can go through, squeegee it off a couple times just to try and get as much water as you can, and just wait for a little bit. Before you roll it up, it shouldn't move at all. You want it to stay exactly where you just placed it. So now we're gonna roll it up. And then we're gonna flush this down. So before I pull out the rest of the liner here, I just like to flush underneath it. And then I'm gonna pull this liner straight down. And I'm gonna hold where I'm pulling from. So if you draw a line straight here, this is where I'm pulling. I'm gonna hold this against the glass so it doesn't just yank the film right off the window. And then I'm just gonna re-wet this part because it was dry. And we're gonna start with the next tricky part, which is tucking these corners. So once you get this tucked in, then you're pretty much home free. But this is part of like the two-stage finessing that gets kind of tricky. So my tint is kind of like curled inwards. I'm gonna take this corner, push it up on the window, and I want this leading edge to be flat. And then I'm gonna use this shank and I'm gonna pull back the seal. And I'm gonna try and keep this as flat as I can against the window and just get it to basically like shuffle in. So you shuffle it in some and it starts butting against the panel right here. So I'm gonna jump to the other side. I'm gonna get this started too. Just get the film on the glass, pull back the seal, straighten this out, and get it to shuffle. And you can see it's binding up right against the panel. This is what's keeping it from just dropping in. So now what I can do is I can pick this up and take all that slack and move it to here. And I go back to one of these corners, and you'll see these little spots where the film is still kind of like curled around the edge. So if we just pull the film back and we start to shuffle it in, what it's gonna do is it's trying to spread out and fall beneath the seal. So if as long as we hold the seal back, we can then just go through, push all the air out, and get this to shuffle right down into the window. And then from here, you're basically home free. We squeegeed basically this area right here. And so we wanna make sure we overlap that area with our squeegee a little bit. And we're just gonna kind of push this out from like the center. So we're kind of going in this direction. So you push everything like near the seal, but you can still see that. And then we go around the edge with this triage again. And swipe. Scream help to say this isn't pre-recorded. Help! But once you squeegee everything out, just take your towel, wipe everything off to just check it over real quick. Because it's very common to like, you might have a small fold here. You might have some extra random, like little extra water or some air pockets that were left behind that you can quickly touch up. If there's anything major like creases or dirt scattered throughout, you'd have to rip it off and start over. But anything towards like the very edges are generally like within a touch-up range, as long as they're not like really big. But yeah, that's how you tint a window. So we'll take this. And peel this out. Like I said, they have a really aggressive adhesive. So let me show this one more time on the front door, and then I can follow that up immediately with I'm gonna steal this pattern. This is decent looking. So we'll do this one real quick. Ooh, let's throw some tape on it too before we spray it. Any questions about installs so far?
What's one vehicle for you, despite no matter what you try, you couldn't two-stage, you had one?
Ooh,
Or seal.
some of the, like a Lexus IS or a Lexus ES, they have such a curve to their front doors, and they put a speaker in the way here. The newer, like I'd say newer within like the past like 10 years really, the inside seals pop out a lot easier. And he could honestly tell you more cars that come apart easily than I could. He takes a lot more seals out than I do. But there's just those certain cars where they're built in a way where they have such like crazy paneling. That Focus is also kind of a good example. The front doors on that, I recommend pulling the seals on it instead of just trying to install it. So we actually have the seals removed on that one already. But the way that, so like this panel, see this speaker right here?
Yeah.
Your window comes all the way into here. But you've got this panel that comes up, and then this juts out. So it's like you're trying to like fold it up in a way and like,
Over all that space.
yeah. So it's really easy to get some creases and get some extra dirt right there without trying too hard.
Yeah, I can definitely give you guys a demo too on pulling bottom seals.
Oh, yeah.
It's a very useful thing.
This one's already been taken apart, so I'm just going to do that right here for the second part of it. But this is what one of those seals looks like. It's not that they're all this way, but a lot of them can be this, or like are this way, where if you get the panel kind of pulled out of the way, the seal can just pop out. And that's what's keeping this from being like just a simple, like you basically just tuck the whole thing in at once versus then like, you know, multi-step finessing, trying to get it in. So I don't know. I kind of say it's like it's there's just trade-offs. Some vehicles are very simple to take apart and some just aren't. So it's just that type of trade-off. Yeah, and you can get clip replacements. I know Harbor Freight's got a good variety. You can buy like clip packs that just have a general variety. It doesn't mean they're going to have every single one. But that's always a risk too, is like breaking part of the panel, trying to remove something, which is what throws a lot of people off from like attempting it at all. But, you know, like your big three manufacturers, like what vehicles would be good to stay away from trying to take apart?
From like taking out the seals.
Yeah.
BMWs.
Don't take apart BMWs.
Or BMWs. Really? Yeah. Like new ones or old ones?
Older ones.
Well, that, oh, yeah. I haven't worked on that many old BMWs. Probably like what? Yeah, like anything like that, like a Jaguar, Mercedes, stuff like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with Mercedes though.
Basically, the more high end.
When you start getting into scary territory where it's like, if I break this, it would probably cost me a lot. Oh, really?
I was doing a removal. I've never done it. And I had
You had a steamer?
a steamer.
Oh.
I used an e-gun and the trash bag. The guy
Oh.
was like, I kind of have to be somewhere soon. Can we hurry this up? So, yeah, I'll try to rip.
And it just
Not
yanked the
have
different.
defroster lines anymore.
Yeah. Were you doing it in a driveway?
Garage.
Oh, his garage? Okay. Yeah, this time of year. Warming it up, so it's not even a guarantee. Most of the time it works though. If you go at a reasonable pace, use a steamer, you need that kind of stuff just to help warm up the glue so it releases from the glass a little bit better. Even then, it's just kind of hit or miss. It'll usually work out even if you just rip it off, but that definitely puts a lot of strain on the defroster lines. Really? Does it look good? Yeah. Yes. This is actually a big moment. We've been working on something for a little bit here. An automatic quoting system. So like we made a really pretty template, and so what it's going to do is a customer requests a quote or you're on the phone or something, what it's going to do is like you fill in the pricing, and then you should already have like their name, phone number, or email. We're doing this over SMS though, so like over like a text message. What it's going to do is literally in the background, what it does is it takes the template, inputs all like your pricing and what service that you're doing, and then sends it as a text message, like an image, so they can actually see a visual of like what shades you have, the pricing, the film, this right here.
2395.
Yes. I'll pull it up on my phone once I get it. I was gonna run over there, but yeah, if he's texting it to me. But we made like a template website that's got like pretty visuals and do the same thing. But this will actually like, there's a lot of guys that'll send like, you know, if they have like a sales card or information about their products or something, they would send that in like an image. But this will do that with service names and pricing and stuff. Let me grab another razor blade. I don't remember where I put mine. A4 sedan, would you recommend removing the interior panels? Ooh, would you guys take apart a 2000 Audi A4? It won't be fun to tint, but
I think a lot of those German cars, I think it's just great to do it anyway.
yeah,
Because it breaks up like so easily.
German cars break. Once they're put together, they're not made to take apart. Very tight tolerances on that kind of stuff.
This is from Tinting.
Okay.
To you too.
Hey! That's cool. So this here.
Oh, that's weird.
So all this got done pretty much automatically. So like, the film that you're using, the price that you want to set, the shades that you have in that film. So across whatever, you know, we'll generally sell Pro Classic, C2 Carbon, and C2 Ceramic. So this would be like for a full vehicle with a windshield.
Yeah.
So this is the vehicle that would be installed on, full vehicle plus windshield, and then.
And they put all that information in. Is that what they?
So we have a small form, and a lot of that is kind of done in the background already, where you already have like your films with the film information.
Yeah.
And so at that point, all you have to do is like what service is getting done and the pricing, and then it would automatically get text to the customer like that. Can you send me one in a different color?
Yeah, I'm working on it. I didn't realize it was the wrong color. I gotta get the hex code for this one will be green.
Hang on, we're gonna get a cooler looking one with our color. So the idea is like a customer calls you, they're asking, hey, I have this vehicle, how much is it to get tinted? And rather than just trying to explain everything over the phone, have a real quick visual, an explanation that you can send them in like a second.
Especially if a lot of the information is just repeated.
Yeah. Yep.
It takes a second to do. It takes about 25 seconds for the screenshot to generate.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh. Only works once.
It's the thing about code and software.
Yeah.
It was a big deal to actually just get the first one. So, but once you get the first one,
You know you're on the right track.
it's not far. He'll get it going in a minute here. Okay. So this one, we have a smaller edge that's going to make this a little bit trickier here. So like we have plenty of space to work with here. We have a lot less space here. So like the process is still going to be the same, but we're still only going to pull down our film halfway here. So we're going to peel this, pull our liner down. I'm going to stop halfway there. I'm going to go about halfway here. We're going to coat this. And try and coat the entire, like actually don't try to do it. Coat the entire piece of film and all the glass. Because you don't want to leave like bare spots, because what that'll do is the film will basically just like stick to those. So if you like actually kind of soak it down to where it evenly sheets, it's going to slide a lot better for you. So we're going to start again with the tall side here. Get this up on the glass. and I'm just pushing it close to the edge, and I'm trying to not go over. And then we want this nice and flat. We're gonna roll up our tint portion. We're gonna kind of just like flatten this out so it lays flat enough to sneak in the seal. And then we're gonna push that into our side seal here. Try and keep this as flat as we can into the side seal. Then we're gonna go over here, pull this back a little bit, flatten this out against the window so this edge is nice and flat. Then we're gonna push this out of our way, flatten it out. We're gonna go back in the other direction. So once this is basically inside the seals there, then I'm gonna see how close I can get this pattern to the top edge without going over. And as long as it doesn't peel back, and that's where like how clean is your top edge will really show. So it dips a little here and it dips a little here, but this is all looking really, really good. But it's about consistency. So if like this gap, you want to try and keep as close as you can, but if it was like a little farther away, as long as it looks even, nobody would think anything of it. A lot of people aren't even going to look right at this edge. They're just like, I just want tint on my car.
So there's not really a standard for the white gap.
No.
Make it even.
Make it,
Look nice.
yes. Yeah, because even if like you're like, what is acceptable and what isn't, a customer has no idea. They just know when they don't like something. So if you make it look pretty, then they're not going to think anything of it. So get that locked in, and we'll roll the window up. Flush this down. I'm going to pull this down. Two-step or bottom, which do you like more? I'm so used to two-staging everything. I'm way more comfortable with not taking stuff apart at this point because there's like you can do this method for so many cars where if I need to take something apart, I have tools. I can look up a YouTube video. I can kind of figure that out. But I didn't know taking seals out until I was way farther into my tinting career. But there are a lot of cars that are still fairly that are pretty easy to take apart, and there's lots of videos too to show that. But kind of just depends on what you gravitate towards. I know there's a lot of people now that will have like they'll say they have two-stage for a long time, and I hear them switching to just pulling seals, and it just depends on the person. I think it's pretty split.
I just think like bottom loading, once you like do it one time, you like never want to go back.
Like, you should put the bottom edge on. Basically.
Yeah,
It
because you.
It's such a clean install on some cars.
Yeah, you see how many steps that is to all get right and go through and remember. So like for bottom loading, let's remove this, and I can take this same pattern and I'll show you guys what, because bottom loading, it's like there's one step, but this is what I'll say is like this is far easier to learn even like without a class, because it's like one step. So the harder thing to kind of learn, and the thing that you would need more hands-on help with, is going to be the two-staging method. So it's just like, if you don't think you're going to do it, then practice some bottom loading and we can do something else. But basically, this would be on the outside of the car. You peel the liner off, you pick it up off the car, and you have your pattern like this. And what I'm going to do now, instead of doing all those steps, I'm going to start with my pattern completely peeled, and I'm going to work on getting that front edge tucked in first and into place. And then I'm going to work on this back edge, and then I'm going to line that up, and then I'm going to squeegee it out, and it's going to be done. That's all because you can remove that bottom seal, though. So that honestly, like, if I just taught plotters and bottom loading and Sharpies, we'd have a much shorter, easier class. But like those are all things that you can do. But I'd like to personally show all those other things because it just depends on the situation that you're in. Not everybody has a plotter. Not everybody is comfortable removing panels. It's like people are still pretty split on like what they're comfortable with. So I like to show a few different options as thoroughly as I can. Because we'll have people that'll come with like, I don't know, just a variety of backgrounds. There's like auto tech people, like glass installers and, you know, accessory installers. And so like taking apart a door panel is like, oh, I do that already. Squeegee that out and then you're good.
A lot easier install, but
Yeah.
I don't think
I'll say just watch some videos on it, honestly. And then, are you guys in our Facebook group?
I joined last.
Okay. The Facebook group is a really good resource because there's people that post all the time different stuff. So it's a really good way of just like seeing if you have a question about a door panel, or sometimes people actually post a video of it. And there's some other Facebook groups that are really good for that kind of stuff too.
Do you still have that seal pulling tool?
Yeah, I think it's in one of those drawers over there.
I changed the window size. This was the old one.
Mm-hmm.
See how it's
Oh, it's just that quick to do?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that looks great. I didn't think it would all resize that easily.
I just told it to, because it's a website, so I just said, change, I told it, I said make
Yeah,
the
but the
window
way,
size taller.
I know, the way that it was set up though,
Yeah.
some idiot has put it together in a way that was all mishmash, so when I would tell it to just make it taller, oh no.
It was short and fat before I made it a little taller.
Oh, nice.
Changed the colors, so.
Yeah, the color scheme's a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, that looks
Yeah, that's with ours this time, like the Detroit Tint Studio. So like you can pick, like
And it would look good with
you get to
any one of
pick
these.
whatever accent color is your shop's logo or whatever, so it goes with your theme.
Yeah, so everything in there at that screen is dynamic. We can just change it. Make it blue, pink, whatever.
Oh yeah, here you go. Here you go, chat. So this is what we're gonna call instant quotes. So we still got to show the first part, but we're getting that part hooked up. But basically, this is the page. So let's say you're just having a conversation with a customer, text message, or a phone call. You fill out a very quick form that basically is gonna, like, you pick what service that the customer is getting. You input your pricing, and then this is what they get in a text message. So this is just like, you know, easy way to explain the services that you're doing in a couple seconds. So I like it. They look pretty cool. What website builder? This is all custom stuff. So we'll have some more info on it soon, but this is like an entirely custom thing that we built. Yeah, it's actually not through like a traditional website builder. But I'm excited. So what's it called? We're going to call it Instant Quotes, but it's going to be through our Tintly system. So basically, like, we already have a chatbot that talks to customers. And so this is kind of an addition to that. So let's say somebody is talking to the chatbot, wanting to get pricing on their vehicle, or they call your shop and they want to get pricing, obviously, on their vehicle. And so rather than just trying to talk up your business, which can be, you know, a very skill-based thing, you can use this as a visual to really quickly help you out in your sales. Or after hours, somebody's talking to the chatbot, wants to get pricing or an instant quote. This will send to them. I never took off door panels. Should I search up videos about it or go to someone with experience to teach me? Honestly, just look up some videos on how to do it. And then if you can find somebody in your area to help teach you how to do it. The thing about taking apart door panels is they're all going to be a little different. Like, so manufacturers all do things a little bit differently. And so it's more of an experience thing. So if you start looking up like this particular situation or that particular situation and just start practicing on some stuff that you have, and then it's just going to be like, just be careful. But screws are often going to be in places where you pull. So by the door handles, in this general area, and then there's usually going to be clips that go around. There's a lot of doors now that'll just pull from here, and you can pull the seal out, but I'm way less familiar with pulling apart a door panel than I am with just two staging. All right. But yeah, you guys can, we got lots of patterns. So just like we were practicing with cutting, figure out what patterns you want to install, and we can go through shrinking and installing. How long did it take you to start a business? Oh, I'm still learning how to start a business. It's always a learning thing. I've been tinting for a long time, and then I opened up this place, but this was very gradual in getting business in here. So it's just you learn and you evolve and you get better. Learning how to tint is one thing, and then learning the other business stuff, and there's no set rules for the other business stuff. There's good practices, and yeah. Why don't you promote TikTok Shop while on live? I haven't been on TikTok in a while. I'm just trying to get back into live streaming. It's been a minute. The room temp is a huge key for wrapping. Is it the same for tinting? It makes it more comfortable. And so right now outside it's like freezing. We're in like single digits right now. It just helps make it more comfortable. You could be anywhere from like, I don't know, 45 and up. But when you're down in the 40s, you're like, you're cold, man. But you could still do it, for sure. I remember tinting with snow outside the bay. I was at a shop. You couldn't fit a full-size F-150 in the bay without the bed sticking out the back. And so there'd be snow, there'd be wind blowing in the bay. And I'd have to try and tint like that truck while everything was just frozen. I farted looking at this. Nice. Thanks for the update. I bought some tint. I want to start the skill. Where do I start if I want to learn on my own? Honestly, just watch videos on how to tint and then start with a thing. So like take your tint and look up video on like how to tint a door window and then try and tint the door window that you have. I learned taking off door panels straight from YouTube, and also most German cards I use a bottom loading tool. Yep, that's actually a good one too. I forget about the bottom loading tools. We don't have any. Or there's nothing that I have here for that. But I hear a lot of people like those too. Nothing makes it like just a simple, straightforward, like this is the easiest way to do it. What's the weirdest thing you've seen that you had to put tint on? I don't know. I'll let you know if I think of something. Spray the window first.
Oh
Yeah, if it's... Okay, so spray it, and if you're trying to make any adjustments, you always got to pick it back up, just spray it. It'll help things slide.
You don't want to put it right. That's pretty easy.
Okay, so we're going to shrink it, so we're going to leave it up more. Right like this. Now spray your pattern. Cool. All right, now we're going to squeegee it. So I'll show you on one side and I'll have you do the other. So I'm gonna squeegee it close to the top here, and what I'm trying to do is take this curve and I'm trying to bring it down into my window here. So see how that finger is like growing? You're creating them a little bit. So I can, as you're squeegeeing it in, I kind of put just a little bit of pressure inwards to make those really like start to pop up, but not quite that much. Just like that type of finger right there. And
Like kind of go across it. Basically, just look for your finger, and you'll do this a few times, really.
Yep. No, that's fine. Just the first one, really, like, and just go all the way down so you can overlap where you're holding. Yep. Just select that area down. Cool. Now let me get you a heat gun. I think. Let's use this one. Have you heard of the Cam2 Roland 640 plotter? I've heard of Roland plotters. I don't know that one specifically, but Roland's a decent brand. For plotters, you would be totally fine with going with them. I'm trying to find a good program to use. Any of the Tint software programs are going to work. Look up either Film Cut from Plotter Depot or Core if you have like a tint business or a business. Shout out to Daniel and Jason from Well.
You just want to stay on the directly on the buttons.
Daniel, you know who Will is, right?
He was texting me. He wanted me to give him a shout out.
Yeah, he just commented. It's good. Switch to the other card, this one.
Okay.
I don't even know. Oh, yeah.
So this is for heat shrink.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the only reason we use these instead is like as the film starts to dry out, the squeegee's not gonna, it's gonna grip the tint. This will continue to slide even though the tint is dry.
Yeah, so
But yep, those squiggles right there. Mm-hmm.
kind of just lay back down. We can kind of heat some of this. Like, say I got
Yep.
a
You get that.
So what is the reason for heat shrink?
So the film is flat and the glass has a curve to it. So all these fingers that pop up here, if you were to just install the tint without ever shrinking it,
Right.
those are gonna pop up on the inside, and you're gonna wonder how am I ever gonna get this to like lay flat on the inside. It's a prep step. So you're forming the tint to match the curve on the window before you go to install it.
It almost like creased a little bit.
Yep.
Not quite.
Avoid the part right here
Okay.
and just stick to anything in the middle. Yeah. Yep. Because you'll start to shrink that overlap spot,
Yeah.
and it's going to do some funny stuff. So you just want to stick to the fingers.
Okay.
Do you recommend the Workhorse 2 plotter? Workhorse 2 plotter is good. It just depends on your budget. Honestly, the Workhorse 1 was perfectly fine, but they just, I don't know if they released it yet, but there is going to be a Workhorse 3. They posted like pictures and pricing that I saw. I don't know if it was like a oopsies, but it'll be red and it'll be soon.
Is there any way to check it or?
So we're gonna do one more step.
Yeah.
So this step we're gonna do dry.
Okay.
And so lift the tint up to about here, straight across. Careful there, you don't want to just pull it right off the gut. That's plenty, and then let go. And then take that card, your shrinking card, and then you're just gonna card here, just straight down, and then card there. And so what that does is now this is nice and lifted off the window. So we're gonna take the heat gun again, and you're just gonna get this to tighten up. So you don't need the card for this part actually.
Just heating it up.
Yep, more right here, like anywhere that's kind of like lifted off the glass.
Okay, and you want it to rest.
Yeah. What you're getting is you're getting this to kind of like pull inwards because shrinking is literally getting the tint to pull together. And so what that does is it tightens up this area right in here. So when you go to install it, you're not gonna have a random big finger pop up on you. Everything should be nice and snug to the window. So that all looks great.
We can go over this
Right here, just a little bit, but it's really minor.
where the curve is starting. Because if we go over this one more time, you'll see that.
Perfect. Yep, that's good to go. Is Workhorse 1 compatible with Core? Yeah, it should work fine.
So next step, we take it off and then
Yep.
peel off or wet it out. Just be
Yep, we got to clean the inside of the window. Wow.
reasonably.
Somebody cooked that in the last class. I don't think that he can. Under every, like, I wouldn't even say this is really soft touch, but this is like under every, like, soft touch vinyl is like nasty white looking foam. So if you ever burn through it, it stands out. And it is right, like if I was a customer walking up to this, I'd be like, what the fuck happened to my door? There's no way to hide that. I had that happen one time, actually. Yes. Let me grab one for you. I gotta grab another pack of razor blades. How much does it take the class? Check out 313tint.com. It's got all the details and what comes with it.
So don't be afraid to get right after
I just ordered my Workhorse 2, so I might have to return it. Ask them, just message their chat and ask if they know when the Workhorse 3 is going to be released. Or if it's still like pre-release right now. There you go. And then I'll grab you a stool too. How many days is the class? 3 days.
Yeah, I never prepped this.
to see if I can get a But this is
There you go.
just the curve going across the whole thing. I'm just trying to
Oh, this one's empty. Throw this one out. Do you know how much the Workhorse 3? When I saw the pricing, it was like $2,600, I think. It's gonna be. So I've been talking to them off and on for a little while now about this. Like I knew it was happening. I just like they're actually getting a plotter made from the ground up, like a budget plotter for window tinting. So the thing about the Workhorse 2 and the Workhorse 1 is like these are vinyl machines first. They're not made for tint. So you have funny things like my roller positions is like here and here for a 24-inch roll, but a 36 is going to be like here and all the way over here. So you're still only going to want to use one roller for the edges. So it's just like there's more fiddling with like roller positions. The buttons don't have presets. It doesn't have a vacuum system to hold the tint down. And there's just some other little like, it's not a bad machine. It's just, there's more fiddling with a machine like that. A Graphtec is an overkill machine. Graphtec's, these are for window tint, they're for vinyl, they're for cutting like thousands of stickers, and they'll just work all day long. Like these are industrial cutting machines. So they work really well for tint, but just using them for tint is not necessarily taking advantage of like everything that you can do with it. So like what they're creating is still like a budget plotter solution, but with all the features that you basically want from that. So it's not going to quite have, I'm sure, exactly the same build quality, but it should be pretty decent. Do you know the ballpark figure of the Workhorse 1 and Core software? I want to say the Workhorse 1, you can check out Plotter Depot. I mean, I can tell you. It'll just be right on Plotter Depot. We'll see if it's available. It's not available right now either. It says now in stock, but it also says out of stock. The Workhorse 1 was a decently cheap machine. The Titan, I don't know if the Titan is exactly the same. That's where you got to dig in the Facebook group. US Cutter or Titan because this isn't exclusively their machine. And then the Workhorse 2 is like $2,100. Oh, they do have it. It's right here. Hang on. They posted it. Let me go back. Yeah, this one. Looks like you could just buy it. I guess it's maybe just out now. I don't know if it officially got released or not, but there it is. $2,600. And they said it was going to have basically everything that a window tinter. So these are all the things it's going to. Wi-Fi. Wow, I didn't know I had Wi-Fi. That's nothing. That, like, they all need USBs, so I'm surprised. I don't think any plotter has Wi-Fi on it. A touch screen? Wow. That's interesting. All right, yeah, go check it out. I don't have one. I haven't used it. I've just talked to them about it. I didn't even know if it was out. But it might be. Because it's listed on their site with the price. Cool. Where's my window? There it is.
Yeah, and a lot of times I like to like.
What program? We're using Core right now.
Maybe get you a rag.
So I can use a vinyl cutter with Tint program? Yes.
I used to do that. I
Um,
wipe it off of my
vinyl cutters are essentially what that machine and the other Workhorse scene, Titan 2, that's basically what those machines are. They are compatible with a lot of window tint softwares. It's just, it's that, like, window tint is, it's easier to cut vinyl than it is to cut window tint. So you can fiddle with, like, settings on a plotter for a while before you get it cutting just right, even with a Graphtec. So when that kind of stuff is, like, on a cheaper machine, it can sometimes take a little longer to, you know, if at all, depending on how cheap you went on your machine. This is a 52 or 53 inch machine, something like that. I think that's what they basically all are. You only need, for window tint, you only need like a 40 inch. So a 50 is totally fine. 60 you would basically use to cut out like a back window on this, but I wouldn't necessarily buy a dedicated 60-inch machine just for cutting out the few oversized windows that are out there. You can get by with a much smaller machine, just bigger than door windows, so like 40-inch and up. And we'll get a stool over here too. Do you own the building and the flooring? I own the flooring, but I don't own the building. We're renting this spot. Does it work? He stood up.
I sent you a message.
Okay, I'll walk him through and I'll check it out. All right. So focus on that side. Get it a little closer to the top there. It's sticking already, right? Yeah. It's going to be a little bit different than Avery.
Yeah, it's sticking quite a bit.
Because Avery, you could probably skid across that whole window without it doing that.
It's so slippery, it makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong.
It's funny because you're literally going to be on like both sides of the spectrum with that then. So on this, we're going to get this close to the top edge. And then what we need to do first is tuck this over into the side. So that's where we're going to pick this up kind of out of the way. We're going to flatten it out. And then we want it to, try and do this with one hand, coast this into that side seal, right like that.
And this should hold, okay.
Yeah, so it can still flip like this. It's just you want it to be able to tuck in there because we need to get this side tucked in there as well. So this window doesn't need, there's not a lot of window to tuck, but on some other ones you're gonna have much wider seals that you have to deal with.
This is something that you can do over and over again and just notice it.
Do you think the Workhorse 2 is easier to work with? No, honestly, the Workhorse 1, like, it's annoying that it's not there right now. I don't know, I would message them if you're interested in buying one of those two. The Workhorse 2, it was like a prettier looking machine, with like the same amount of quirks.
You know, it's so hard just to do it, but you'll notice different things over and over.
It's just they got this one and they called it the Workhorse one. They got the better looking one. They called it the Workhorse 2. And it's like the build quality and just like the overall styling of it is a little bit nicer, but you get the same type of motor and the same features. Yep, that all looks good. And then we'll squeegee it out from the top. Yep, just up to it. You don't have to squeegee all the way because we still got like the tri-edge card.
Yeah.
It's really about like getting it tacked down first.
So it doesn't slide around.
Mm-hmm. And then you can go over it with like a stronger pass too. Yep, and then spray it, and I'd squeegee it again a little bit harder this time. Because yeah, at first it's gonna want to slide around more. GeoShield less overall, but it's really like, you'll see that'll work against you in other ways. Like,
Avery, still sliding.
I was really annoyed because like I was at a tinting competition, and I was so used to using Avery NR, and the film, I didn't even think about it. The film that I was using, you got to use your manufacturer's brand of film, and then I was using NR Pro. And so I had a heavier soap mix because I was so used to that film tacking up really fast, and NR Pro just like slid around like crazy. And it totally screwed me over.
I did bring, and I'm not sure, but it's just because it's in my book bag. I have a bunch of aprons.
Okay. Yeah, we can take a look. You can compare.
And whatnot. It was something I wanted to do for potential customers. I'm gonna.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we can absolutely compare them. I'm a lot more familiar with Avery because I installed them for a while. I don't have the most positive things to say, unfortunately. But, so just use that one just for the corners, and then use the squeegee for anywhere in the center.
That was pure habit.
No problem. As things pop up, I'll mention it. Why, stool? Why won't you go down? I like these stools, I really do, but the little, I don't know why, these always come loose. And then I can't adjust it. Oh. Are you in Hermosa Beach? Oh, no. It's snowing outside. We are far away from a beach. Okay, so now you can roll up the window. There you go. All right. Now you can rinse. So when you roll the window up, that can pull dirt up from the seal. So I have a habit of just like flushing whatever dirt that came up with it back down. Oh, not in LA, no. No, and I've thought about moving to a nicer place just so we can have some warmer classes. Make it more of a vacation destination too. That'd be great. But man, I was just born here, so that's why we're still here. Born here, there's some family here, and wet the tint. So now that we pulled that, yeah, just re-wet the tint. You could probably do both steps together, but it's a habit where it's like once I roll the window up, I flush it, then I pull the liner, and then I just wet that portion of the tint. Do you offer 30%? I wish. 30% is so just slept on. Like It would be. I'd love to have a 30%. So many people go from 35 right to 20. There should be a 30% for a lot of like factory matches. 20 is good for a lot of situations, but there's a lot of foreign trucks and SUVs that go lighter than 20.
Basically exactly the same.
Okay, so for your shank here, a little bit more over here, and use it to really hold back the seal, and then you can squeak it in a little bit more. It's still not going to be able to go in very far because we can't go in all the way because there's still this area, so right about there. But do it with the other side with that. Yes, there you go. Yep, because that holds it back. It's just a small tucking tool is all it is. It's not incredibly technical or fancy, but it's literally just used as an assist to help pull that seal back. There's a handful of other ones that are out there. Some of them are wider and could probably help more. I didn't get introduced to that until I was tinning for a long time. So,
Pick it up
yes.
and then add
That works. There you go. How do you think you would like Palm Beach, Florida? Is that on the west side or the east side? It's snowing. Is it really snowing in Texas right now? I guess no place is immune right now. But I'll say, I bet you Michigan stays way more gloomy and depressing. Where are you from?
Me?
Yeah.
Ohio.
Oh, okay. So that's just as gloomy and depressing.
Oh, 3 hours away, man. We share the same.
Yeah. It's no different.
No.
Yeah. So we squeegeed out up to here. So we're going to overlap that a little bit just to make sure we don't miss anything and kind of start in the middle.
Okay.
And then kind of work this out there. And you don't have to wedge the squeegee down into the seal. Just push up to it, and then we'll take care of it with the tri-edge card.
Okay.
Good. Yep. Just kind of like out that way. Yep. And then same thing here. Just. It's snowing in Florida. Shut up. No, it's not. Is it really? That's wild. Dude, it's. What is it outside right now? It says it's 8. Liar. Oh, it feels like -6. Oh my god. Yeah, you can go down. So the only reason, like, and it's optional. You don't necessarily, like, for the top corner have to go up. It's easier to go that way for here. For this, we're sweeping everything out and around. So it's just as long as your card is basically doing this and like angled so it's squeegeeing this kind of stuff out, then you're good. Yes. You know what? It's good. You're one of the few people that haven't tried to squeegee using this edge. A lot of people, they take...
These so far, I know how to use them.
Nice. It actually looks like you do. I've been surprised, like the amount of people that I've had to correct right away and say, don't use this side. And then they keep wanting to use this side. I'm like, no, that's just, I know it's called tri-edge, but you actually only use 2.
The other edges are beveled.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's what the beveled sides are for.
Look at a squeegee.
There are people that don't understand squeegees either. Nice. Yeah, that went pretty good.
I have something.
How many years tinting? God, like 16 years now? Okay, that's fine. Not really surprising because of, like, what that came from was how at first it was getting pushed against the side. Like anytime tint starts to crinkle up a little bit or get crushed, that's what that looks like. But we can apply some heat here, and we can mostly fix that.
Okay.
Are you going to show how to shrink front doors and back windshield? That is going to be tomorrow. But yes, we'll be here tomorrow doing that. Okay. So this is actually a perfect example of something that you can touch up and mostly get to go away. So the stuff that pops up on the edges is still within like typically a fixable range.
Yeah.
It just depends on like, did it get folded really heavy? If there's like a sharp crease, that's gonna be really hard to hide because it's not gonna wanna lay flat. But this is a nice little like blown out like air pocket finger thingy here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat up the glass. And I wanna be careful not to melt or distort the rubber. So glass will soak up some heat and hold onto it longer than this will. So you can do that, or you can just block it with a card. Okay. But we're gonna heat it up. And then I'm gonna put my hand on the inside so I can feel kind of where the temperature is. And what I'm looking for is like, I couldn't tell you exactly how hot it is, but it's gonna sting to keep my hand here. So I just keep like the back of my fingers here and I can feel it warming up, It's getting really hot, it's getting really hot. So if you touch this right now, it's got that little like, ooh, it's really toasty. If it gets much hotter than that, it's going to steam the water and then it's gonna bubble. So you just don't want it to get hotter than that. This one actually kind of expanded and these fingers are coming out now. But if I start on the outmost edge and just with a lot of pressure, try and sweep that all out together, you're basically like just accelerating how fast that's drying. This softens up the glue, gets everything to grab a little bit better. And so you can like, you want to go all the way in with the card, sweep the water completely past where the edge of the film is, and then that looks a million times better. Cool. So that's a really good example of like something that you can touch up.
And you'll have that all the time.
Yeah.
With two stages.
I have that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just keep pushing.
Yeah, the water is what's really making it just like pop back up. So if you dry it out, essentially what you're doing is you're just getting the glue to grab all in one go, and it just seals down right away and it won't keep popping back up at you.
And if this is ever like a matte finish, like matte plastic, this will melt really fast.
Yeah.
So what you can do for those is to take something like this with a towel in it, shove it in there, and just walk away, and that'll dry it out without having to put it in.
Yep, there's a few tricks you can do. If you're trying to take care of it immediately, like let's say this was 2 doors, the other door looks great, and you're standing here like, oh, I got this one spot. Heating it up and like trying to be attentive with it, you're just trying to accelerate that drying process. But if you have a little time, you can warm up the spot, walk away for a little bit, and just kind of let it dry out. But these seals are seals, so what they do is they like hold water there, and it takes a little while, and especially in the bottom edge, it'll just hold on to water for hours and just like not dry out. So it'll constantly like pop up, like the smallest amount of water will cause a finger to just constantly pop back up on you. So all you're really trying to do is accelerate how fast that dries out and get rid of all the water that you can.
That guy that had me do his car at work, I just told him to come back in a couple days and push it down.
Yeah, yep, just some extra time. Yep, and then before you do, try and just warm it up with a little bit of heat, just soften it up, and then press it out in one go. Yeah.
Do you want me to rip this off?
Yes. Yes, let's peel it off. And you're probably gonna see it's gonna leave some glue probably left behind there.
Okay.
All right, let me see this quote. So is this all like automated?
No.
Okay.
But it's all the data and the link links.
Oh, okay, okay. So this is going directly to the thing.
Yeah, so that's going to,
Oh, this is going to our full tint quote page. Mm.
they both are pulling code ID stuff.
Oh, I didn't even show this kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, now you can.
Okay. All right, I can get chat impressions on this. All right, all right. So let me show you. Let me show you first. There's this. So the idea here is you get a phone call from a customer, or somebody just fills out a quote request. So they want to know how much is it going to be to tint my car. So this is something that can be text in an image to a customer very, very quickly. And it has the different films, what's getting covered, what shades that you have, little features about the films, and just overall snapshot. This is what the differences are. This is what our pricing is for your vehicle. And it just tries to give yourself a really nice, quick presentation. So another thing that we have coming along with that is this. So this is, you get a link to a personalized quote page. So this would be their name, their vehicle, what service that they're getting. And this will basically be a snapshot of your business in a page format that's a little more interactive. So you have preview your window tint shades. So you have, you might have seen these on some websites. We're working on an inside view too. So you could see what the tint would look like beforehand on the outside, or look at what it is on the inside. And then a little visual to help explain the differences between a regular film, carbon, and ceramic. And then you get the same type of slides here, or like, so you get a really quick visual as a way to like up your presentation game in a very quick and efficient way. So I can see, pricing and all that, along with, when I could schedule. So from here, what's nice is that you click this button, you click calendar, and it'll take you right to the booking page. Or you could embed your calendar directly in it. So that's some stuff that we have coming very soon. I'm excited to try this out for us because I want to use these really, really badly. The page is really fun too. So, but yeah, let me know what you think.
So the automated part will work. We just don't have the interface filled out.
Oh, so I just need to fill that out.
So yeah, if that were complete, in theory, everything is in place to try it.
Okay.
Right now, that's just, I put all of that information manually into the
Oh, okay.
so it's pulling from that demo.
Gotcha. But it'll do. But if the information's there, it'll generate the image and send that automatically too.
Not until it will, but it does it right now. I need it to do that once,
Okay.
so I can capture that data and template it.
Oh, so that's got to be filled out first, and then the automation part can be built.
Because I have to give it the bracketed tags
Yeah.
for it, and that hasn't been provided in a webhook yet.
Gotcha.
So once we get that, I can collect it, automate it, and then it'll work for everybody. Then we gotta, it's actually cool because now I can go back through the people that have signed up, say, hey, touch base with them again. We got this cool new feature,
Yes.
and also, how's it going?
Yep. Yep, that was the idea, to kind of package more in with what they were already getting with their chatbot. It's like a way to send automatic quotes.
The only thing is with that phone call form, it's assuming that we already have the year, make, and model of the car.
With the phone call form?
Yeah, the form that this whole automation is being triggered from.
Oh, yeah. No, we got to add that to it. Yeah.
It doesn't collect vehicle details.
No, we can add that to it. Because it was like,
We can add that to it, but I have to recode everything because it's not looking for that information, and that it's pulling that from the content. It's not pulling it from the form.
oh.
So like that. If it's text, the year, make, and model have already been pulled. But if it's a phone call,
Yeah.
the year, make, and model will be pull, but it takes a second.
Okay.
So if you were to hang up and instantly do it,
Yeah.
the fields wouldn't have been updated in the form. But if you were
Yeah.
to hang up and call, wait a minute, and then do it, then that information would be populated.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's not, to pass that on the form
Uh-huh.
would be like,
Well, because like it'll work from quote request then, because the vehicle is being passed along with it, right?
right, because the contact's being updated.
Yeah.
As soon as they submit the form, that contact has been updated.
But the part of it was to have like an alternate form or the same form that just doesn't have that section populated, and then you could just like quickly pull it up, type in the year, make, and model. But I think less people would do that just because you have, like if you'd have to type in basically everything, including the phone number. It does make it more complicated if you're right then and there in a phone call.
Yeah.
Because there's quite a few more things.
Dynamically have like a yes or no, do you need to provide the vehicle information? And if yes, then the vehicle information will pop up, and if no, you need to see it.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'd have to add that to the code. Because like I said, it's right now it's pulling year, make, and model from the contact details. So
Okay.
not handing it to them.
Because like, what form would pop up to when you're getting a phone call? Like, yeah, I don't know. I gotta think that through a little bit too, because it all makes it a little bit more complicated. Can you tint a driver's side window that doesn't go down? Yeah, it's never gonna look quite as good. So whoever you're tinting it for, yeah, that, and then you want to lift it, let go, and then just tack down the sides real quick. And then turn the heat gun back on, and then we'll just tighten up that, like these areas right here. Sometimes it stays up a little bit better than that.
It's like it's really wet or something.
On the first pattern, Daniel really helped me see the whole like the smiley.
Yeah, there it
face
is.
type thing.
Yep, this. Yep, because when it's dried out a little bit. Yeah, because we got to figure out like the only problem that I would want to try and solve for with the phone call part.
Nope, just pull it off.
Yep. Oh yeah, for this part you don't need to cart it. You're just flattening it back out. But yeah, the part that we'd have to figure out is like, okay, when somebody calls, like what happens? So you'd almost want a form or a link to like pop up automatically with like a form with their phone number on it. So then you could type in like you'd have to type in their year, make, and model,
I mean, you could
and then their pricing, and then click submit.
have the phone call trigger
Yeah,
By the way,
an inbound phone call.
inbound notifications, like actual app notifications, you can put text in them, but you can't pass a link in the notification. If you touch the notification at all, it redirects you.
Okay.
Someplace. So just if you ever have to do that for a regular internal notification.
Should I hit it a third time?
No, you're good on it. You don't have to try and keep doing it. It's just the 2 times. Spray the window, or it's over here. I'll show you exactly kind of what that does. So this is shrunk. And if you want to check it, it then has to be wet, and now we can like pretend we're installing it right now. So if I tack it up here and I'm squeegeeing it down, what does the bottom edge do?
Yeah, in a little bit. Yeah. But it's just kind of, this is like basically doing the same thing.
That looks great. See how that all flattens out? So you can shrink the fingers, lift it back up, tighten it up a little bit, and then you should know that it's like, just trust that it should be fine. But if you ever want to just like, hey, is that really shrunk enough? Then that's where you give it a wet check, yep. So now this is ready to install.
I'm still wrapping my head around triggering it automatically. Like
I'm triggered.
Yeah. Having it triggered from a SMS conversation is.
Well, because that's not going to work without the extra bot.
Right.
And that's fine, because it's like either we come up with an exact phrase, or it's just like, it's just not that sophisticated yet.
Right. I just don't want it randomly setting out extra hooks. Oh, we have to pay for that, by the way, for that image generation. It's a screenshot API.
Oh, okay.
It's super inexpensive. It's
Okay.
like the BigQuery.
Yeah.
It's $20 a month for 2,000 screenshots.
Okay. Okay, so you actually had to use a...
A third party, because it's actually loading. It's opening Chrome,
Yeah, unloading the page.
loading Chrome, and then taking the screenshot.
They do. They got somebody in the Philippines doing it. Here, I'll do this. So what I'll say about the tape too is like, especially through practice, it's going to, like, water's going to seep behind it. It's going to start loosening up. It's not a big deal just to practice with it out of the way too. And then like it's as soon as it becomes, in my opinion, as soon as it becomes an obstruction, it's not helpful anymore. So just like having it there loose isn't really going to help you. So it's just like, you might as well just like pull it off and tint without it. It's actually, you know, I was kind of hoping it would do that, because I'm like, this really has to like open a window,
Yeah.
screenshot it, and then be able to send it, because the stuff that you're loading isn't like, it's just like dynamically pulling it. So it really needs to like, ta-da!
Yeah, there's an AWS Lambda Chromium browser of Google Chrome, and it has to load that, call that, and that's it. And then you give it the window size
Yeah. Oh, okay. Good.
in pixels, so it's 1600 by 1400.
Okay. Well, cool.
14 by 16.
What's up?
Someone needs their windows redone.
Okay.
They need a Saturday, so
Oh.
I don't know if you're gonna be able to do it on Saturday.
What windows?
Front windshield and the two rear doors.
Is that this one?
What's the guy's name? Mike?
Steve Taylor.
Yeah, it's a redo from like December
Oh, really?
or November.
Yeah,
He wanted it
was
redone and
waiting
he couldn't
on
get
you
here.
'cause you were gone.
Oh, why does he want me to do it? Oh, that's gonna be a fun one.
He also doesn't like the shave that he got on the back, even though I gave him the exact shave that we did on his last car. We like looked it up at Templates.
Yeah.
And he said, well, I don't know if you just did the wrong shave or what, but it's not or it's too bad. Well, I don't remember which way, but he was definitely waiting for you to do it.
Oh, jeez.
Like you like it a little, so I think
All right. All right.
It's the tackiness getting me in this corner again.
Yeah. Here you go. Yep, you can let this just kind of like sit here at this point. Yep. Keep it back. Pull it away a little bit. Yep. And then a little bit closer. So I say pull this back a little bit. This is a plotted pattern too. So we got to get all that. So that's what it should look like, and then you can coast it in there.
Okay.
I'll move from California to wherever you are if you mentor me. Why do we want you here, though? What does that do for me? It sounds like more work. Yep. So this can go over this way a little bit farther. Yeah. So take that. It's really the. There you go.
Plastic liner.
Yep. Yep. I know it's too many steps. I can see the amount of steps. Like, it hurts my head too. It's like I wish, like bottom loading. It's like I wish all this was bottom loading, and yeah, you're right. I appreciate you. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know this is the thing.
It's just I have no experience, and the guy who hired me fired me because they didn't know what I was doing. Like, bruh, you knew I was fresh. Yeah, I hear you. It's definitely difficult to try and get, like, it just depends on the shop. So, shops, what they really want to do is they want to hire somebody with a ton of experience and then pay them nothing. So they end up hiring somebody new, and then as soon as they frustrate them, they're like, screw this. Been practicing in my car for 2 months now. I've done my mom's car, Tacoma maybe 4 to 5 times, and I finally nailed my truck. Nice, that's awesome. You can learn so much from doing your car over and over again. Just doing some friends and family stuff. California burned down. Oh yeah, I know. That was nuts. Where's your shop located? We're in Detroit Tint Studio. Not in Detroit. Sterling Heights, near 18 and Mound. Detroit Tint Studio. Are you gonna post this later on your channel? Yeah, the video is just gonna be up. So as soon as the live is over, the video should already be there. Okay, so the only thing that's holding it back here is this right here. So right in here, and now it should shift forward.
You've done this before.
Huh?
You've done this before. How'd you know?
Maybe just a couple times.
Maybe just for a few years.
You log into Squarespace on one of the computers. I need to play around some DNS settings.
Okay.
I've got it open on that one, but it's not signed into your browser. You want me to hold
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, do that. Oh. Okay. That was weird. Gotta do like a two-step Google authentication, and then I gotta do a two-step Squarespace authentication as well. I'm sorry, like every website is that. And it's like across a million computers and phones and stuff. It's like I got the one in the office, I got my laptop. Yeah, that's good. That looked like it went pretty well.
That one was better.
Should always just get a little better. How much would you charge if I wanted to send my kid over there to learn how to tint? He needs to learn a skill before graduating high school. Oh, that's really nice. 313tint.com. And this is just for anybody looking to take a class. Classes are really an accelerator. You'll learn a lot taking a class. You still have to practice. So I always encourage, get some film, get some tools, try and practice before you take a class. But either way, it's just, it'll be a healthy accelerator. It's Ray. Gotta let you know, I finally got my commercial pilot's license. Oh, congrats! That's awesome. Can you get me free flights somewhere? Is that a film cutter? Yep. Yes, sir. Should it be coming out of here? Why don't I hear it now? Here, let me switch it to here. I'll switch it back and we'll see if it works. You never leave water under the tint when you're shrinking. Did my windshield cannot get those outer edges to shrink. Always more heat. On a windshield or a back window, you're going to be doing a dry shrink method. So whatever you put under there should be totally dry. And we'll get into front windshields and back windows tomorrow. So you'll be able to see that a lot more if you come back. Have you guys thought about doing commercial jobs? Like architectural? That guy's airplane windows. A lot of, actually airplanes are plexi, so they're just totally different. I could give you a friend benefit under the discounts when I join the airlines. Would definitely take. I would definitely take you, Mark and Jason, to Zima. Oh, that'd be nice. What airline, actually? Or is that still to be determined? Click this button. Oh, still not bad. Whoa. That's pretty nuts. It's always interesting how this curve works on Google. It does this, it does this, it does this, it does this, and then it starts coming down and it never goes back up. I don't know what we got to do around here. Yeah, juggle or something. Was there super chats?
I don't know if I'm going to put this. All this you can just.
No. Okay. Just making sure. Flat glass. Oh yeah. We've done some flat glass, and I mean that's one reason that we had this wall built. It's just we get distracted easily. It's just going around doing quotes and then going there, and like it's a lot more back and forth. It's a very good business. I just tend to do too many things all at the same time, so it's kind of gotten put on the back burner for now. Oh, it's definitely to be determined. I get one more year left. Nice. Okay, that's awesome. Congrats. We'll all throw down on a plane and go to SEMA. And that's where all the money is at. Yeah, that's where the biggest, yeah. We get distracted with auto, but the nice thing about auto is they come here and then I can do live streaming and videos.
You could possibly just shrink the top. Like, just get a little bit extra.
We're starting the Hudson building this week. Nice. That sounds like a big project. So how'd it go?
It went good.
Yeah?
Yeah, for the most part.
Do you bottom load this one?
No.
Oh, okay.
The seal was already out on this one.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
But we still went for two-step, but bottom, since there's no seal, just
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll make it a little bit easier.
But yeah, for the most part, it went pretty good.
Cool.
Learning a lot, so that's good.
Good. Yep. Tomorrow we're gonna do back windows and front windshields.
Cool.
I'll still bring in the Tesla too. I can do I gotta do a frameless demo, but it doesn't necessarily have to be today.
Okay.
So it'll probably be actually tomorrow or the third day. Actually, it would be a good day to do it. So
Is that your Tesla?
yeah,
Nice. It's cool.
yeah, it's been good. I got a hell of a deal on it too. They were just cheaper to lease, and they still are. They're like incredibly cheap to lease compared to a lot of other things.
Yeah.
So yeah. Everything else was like $600 a month. That was like under 500.
My lease is cheaper than mine.
What's yours at?
400.
Yeah. What's the Edge?
Yeah, it was the cheapest thing. Yeah. I just didn't. I was glad that Tesla beat.
They seriously are. The Model Ys are actually really cheap. But if you do more driving, they don't make much sense.
Can't go very far, or as far.
No, not
They get like 300 miles, 500.
if. Well, probably the long range ones do now. That one's like 275. I charge it regularly, so I drive it back and forth and short errands and zip zap around, and then we have an Explorer for everything else. But I was just surprised. I was looking around like this, so at least that in 2023, like March. So it's like everything. I wanted something that looked nice,
Right.
that I could sell off of, and everything that I was looking around that was like kind of just like was like at least 600 plus,
Yeah.
with like over $1,000 down on it, and then I don't know. Tesla had knocked down their prices even farther, and I was like, "What, really? Oh, okay." It's like 100 to like $200 cheaper than everything.
Yeah, I really like it. I would like to get one. How was the energy cost?
I don't even look. I don't even look. I just plug it in.
Yeah.
Our electricity isn't bad,
Bill's not like
and it's just one of those things where I don't even think about it. I just plug it in and it's charged, and yeah.
It's just like a battery or your phone.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Where do you guys get the self-healing tables from? Um, so what we did with those are the ping pong tables over there. It's this stuff. So this is, I don't know, let me move this all away for a minute. So we actually I screwed a self-healing material on here, but I'm not a huge fan of this straight lines are fine, but as soon as you try and make corners with window film, you can somewhat, but it's you can't be as precise as glass. So I like these because they're just like big tables that you can just like put down, and I'm not afraid to get this wet and mark it up and cut on it or whatever. But these are just like a composite ping pong table that fold up. So this will just fold down super easily. You kick this, oops, and then this whole thing will just come down right like that, which is nice, and it'll just fold up. You can wheel them away. So I think they're great as just like a portable work surface, but don't really like for cutting plotted patterns, it's all right, but trying to really like tighten up an edge or something, it's not as great. How much do you pay for gas on your Tesla? I ordered tools off your site. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That's such a good idea. Love it. Yeah, that one was Mark's idea. So they're 5 feet wide. So they're perfect for this. Or no, 4 feet wide. 4 feet wide. No, 5 feet. It's 10 foot. Whatever. They're wide enough for this. So they're great to just cut PPF out on and weed that, which is really nice. And then yeah, just put them away. Did TikTok disconnect? No, that's just how it is. All right. Well, we're winding down for today. We're just gonna let them continue to practice. I'm gonna sign off here for now, and then we'll be back tomorrow with some more back windows, or with the back windows and the front windshields. My headset, I don't know what's going on. I can't hear chat right now, so I don't know what broke. So I'm gonna figure that out before tomorrow. Love this shop, so much room to play. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this shop finally turned out. Putting that wall and just being able to stack some more stuff out behind it. Oh, this place turned out really, really good. It's so nice to have a finished space. But thank you for hanging out. I appreciate ya. Back windows and front windshields tomorrow. Bye. I'm gonna say goodbye to TikTok.